of reInvent 2022 in Las Vegas, Nevada. My name is Jeff Marushak. I'm a senior solutions architect with our DoD Air Force team. And we are AWS On Air with the first segment of the day. But first, let's introduce my co-host, Chad. How's it going, man?
Thanks, Jeff. Doing well. My name is Chad Lacey. I'm a global sales strategist with AWS. It's great to be back, man. This reInvent's been incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not tired yet.
No, but we have a full day of segments.
We do.
Yeah.
We got a full day of segments.
Yeah.
We got a lot to do. And I'm happy to introduce my new friend, Caroline Chan from Intel. It's great to see you.
Nice to meet you both. Actually, I brought a demo, apparently.
Did you bring a demo?
I missed that out.
I'm super excited about the demo now.
Well, great.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so we've heard there's about private 5G. Everyone's talking about 5G, and some people are talking about private 5G, and myself included with my customers, but can you tell us what Intel and AWS have been working on together for 5G?
Yeah, so we have a long history working together. We, from the cloud to the edge, we would develop custom SKU just for our special friend, AWS, right? And you guys do a great job taking to the market. Now, the difference now is you have something called 5G, which is tremendously different than before. So I myself, been growing up in the wireless space, you have 2G, 3G, 4G, they're all designed for consumers, for iPhones or for Androids.
Yep.
Now, 5G for the first time was designed from the ground up to be for enterprises.
Yes.
Now, what that means is that it gives the connectivity that will bring in a revolutionary approach to deal with the amount of data, AI, don't forget that.
Yep.
That's a huge push why you need connectivity.
Well, that's
right.
it's interesting because it was previously for consumers, a lot of people don't realize how important 5G is for exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah, like today, for example, you cannot have Uber and Lyft without network, without LTE, without 5G.
Right.
But think about how would that transform a factory environment?
Exactly.
How did that transform education? Remember the last 3 years, our kids for a time were stuck at home?
Yeah.
Without connectivity, bringing it into your home, into the school to enrich your education. Now, more than that, once you have connectivity, do you guys have kids that you remember the book called If You Give a Mouse a Cookie?
Yeah.
You start adding on. You layering on top. Telehealth.
Yeah.
Many, many things happen from having connectivity. Today, most people use this like local area network, LAN or Wi-Fi, but it has its drawbacks. LAN tend to be you have to pre-configure. If your factory changes a production line, you have to reconfigure, and that's pretty expensive. Wi-Fi is great, but they don't have the coverage that you needed, and there's, in terms of reliability, security, because it's prone to interference.
Well, yeah, factories aren't made with drywall. They're made with iron and aluminum that doesn't play well with Wi-Fi.
That's right.
And robots, and very sensitive, AGVs, AMR, they're very, very sensitive to latency. So 5G was designed with latency, with reliability. So hopefully I don't sound like, I am, I'm really excited because that's my entire, I grew up doing this kind of thing. But being able to introduce 5G to an AWS cloud solution, what it does is it increase your opportunity to draw on more applications. Again, if you give a mouse a cookie, you start adding additional, and then you're able to get the data, the right amount of data that gets contextual data that you can start analyzing on the edge. Because remember, sometimes the data is so sensitive. Think of AGV, by the time you get to the cloud, it does get stale. You get the data and get the right information back to the cloud, and then you do some machine learning. So that kind of a cycle just continues. We do see that more than 50% of the data today is already generated on the edge. 2025, more than 70% we generate on the edge. So it's really important to have the right type of connectivity that enables AI, enables more compute on the edge. Therefore, you benefit, Intel benefit for having more SKUs being deployed, more compute deployed, and enterprise and our entire ecosystem benefit from having the opportunity to develop additional application and harvest the data.
Well, I appreciate you level setting that because when I first heard about 5G coming out, I thought it was like, okay, this is the next iteration. It's just more speed, right? And I think that's what most people thought. It's like, oh, it'll be great. It'll be faster. It'll be faster.
No, it's a lot more than that.
And I have to give a plug to one of my groups that I work with. I'm a volunteer with AWS Humanitarian and Disaster Response. And so we were deployed down in response to Hurricane Ian recently, down in Florida. And 5G was immensely useful there. And that's why I think it's so interesting, because the adoption and the way people are approaching 5G, like it's already morphing the way it's going, the way people are using it. We were deploying it up and down the beach during the disaster response, and it was incredible.
Yeah, I mean, computer vision is another one.
That's right.
Like smart city, you fundamentally change how you run a smart city. Like the city of Las Vegas here actually deploys that, right? It is better speed. But on top of that, there's something called URLC, ultra reliable, low latency. Those are really designed for factories and so on. So for example, my daughter is a first year medical residence in New Jersey. And when they were going to school, they were still actually doing all the hands-on stuff. But now with 5G, with AR, VR, you could potentially have an immersive education without having to deal with, a lot of the hospital environment. You can really assist on the new doctors to get a much faster learning curve. Think about all that can transform how the society runs. And I truly believe that AWS and Intel partnership will drive that together. Use cases, blueprints, and the reachability of AWS has to the developers. That's a major draw, because now you have the connectivity. You need people to write applications that take advantage of 5G.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you deploy Hurricane Ian really won't help beyond connectivity. You have to have people write applications. The way that AWS has such a rich environment, you can see it today in all the floors here. That is what we need to make 5G for enterprise, or private 5G to really, really shine.
So I appreciate you level setting the 5G landscape. So I think everybody's got a better idea. Can you dive a little deeper on what Intel and AWS have been doing together in this space?
So we'll be jointly developing solutions, blueprints. We'll be doing joint sales, reaching out to your sellers, our sellers, and then you also, both of us have a wide varieties, large ecosystem, like system integrators, because when you go to a private network, you do need very domain-specific integrators, and we definitely appreciate that both of us together, we probably have a really strong reach, and we'll be co-marketing. In fact, we'll have a excellence center of excellence in the United States as well as in London.
Nice.
So reaching across the ocean, and in order to educate, promote, share, and more importantly, learn. You don't learn until you get to the field, right?
That's right.
Like you probably learn a lot more from what you experienced down in Florida.
Absolutely.
And we learn from the factories and venues, logistics, ports. Lots of opportunity for us to jointly drive this new market. This is very new, by the way. I'm not saying this is a mature market, because you were asking what they can do. It is part of it. It's about making people aware that there is that solution. I could not think of a better partner than Amazon Web Services, because you have such a reach in a customer space.
Awesome. Yeah, I think the neat thing is you set it up perfectly. You talked about education, and then you brought in VR. Everyone thinks VR is for games, but VR is for education. It's for technicians. It's for remote, like maybe a surgeon is working remotely with VR.
Yeah, I see people have been using it in healthcare for sure.
Yes. Healthcare.
So it's much more than that. But I know you're having a session later today to talk more about this.
12:30 today.
Shameless plug.
Here in the Venetian or where?
Caesar's Forum.
Caesar's Forums, okay.
Not the hotel.
Not the hotel. Don't get confused. I made that mistake.
Now, will you have a demo there?
What is this with
I was trying to let it go. I'm
totally FOMO now. I got that. Let's get a demo together. It's a telco breakout session called TLC 023 at 12:30. Samir and I from Amazon. We also have an end user all the way from New Zealand giving testimony.
Great.
For that. So three of us got to put on an even better show than this show we have right now. Can you believe it?
I love it. That's great.
You should come and see us.
I'm going to be there now.
Yeah, hey, well, thank you very much for being here. Make sure you tell Pat I say hello. I haven't talked to him for a while. I'm just joking. But everyone, thanks for tuning in. We're really excited to talk to Intel and the partnership with AWS with 5G. But stick around, we have more segments coming up.